Well, hello everybody. Welcome to, can you believe it? It's episode number 8, right? Isn't that just so crazy? We've been doing this for 2 months. And I'll just start out by introducing myself. I'm Michelle, aka the Pitch Queen. And for those of you that don't know me, my mission is to help entrepreneurs close more deals, help more people, and make a bigger difference in the world. That just sums it up. And I do it through 2 ways. One is through this Facebook Live show called Coffee is for Closers. And I'm also on Instagram Live for all those of you guys on Instagram, and for all of you on LinkedIn, we're trying that today. So at the end, I'll take any of your questions. So please ask me a lot of questions. I actually like questions and I love answering them. And I'll answer them from my 20 years of experience. So I've been selling a lot of stuff, everything from clothes at Nordstrom's to red chicken enchiladas at Fitzy Foods to our Fitzy bars to, you name it, I probably sold it. Mortgages, real estate, high ticket offers, online phone sales. So, I really want to take everything I've learned and share it with all of you. I also was on Shark Tank, so if you're trying to pitch or raise money, I can help with that. And I've also raised over $1 million from my last business. So I've got a lot of experience. I'm here to share it with you. A few housekeeping things. We are going to try for September moving the show to Tuesdays at around 2 o'clock Pacific time. So if you've got some free time, we'd love to have you live with us. It's way more fun than me talking to 3 cameras and 1 big mic in my face. So I love having you guys here live and interacting. And if I can be of service to you, I am here for that. So today's show is all about knowing your worth, knowing your value, and knowing your price. Because I think a lot of times when we are presenting our products, services, selling, servicing people, whatever you want to call that word, a lot of times if you're not pricing yourself right, or you're not telling the value that you really want to be at, you feel like you're wasting your time. You're not happy with your clients. So that's what we're going to discuss today. Make sure that you have your beverages. So I've got some Gatorade today. I'm a little low on electrolytes. It's pretty hot here in San Diego, and I think I overheated in the gym today. So Gatorade, water, coffee. Obviously, Coffee is for Closers is the name of the show. That statement is from a movie. But if you've got water, tea, margaritas, beer, whatever you want, you can join us weekly every week. And if you can't make it, don't worry. We always post the replay. So let's go to the slides. Also, 2 things. If you want to get notifications, just type in the word show in the comments below. And then also, if you want to get my guide on how to know your worth and your value, you can type in, that's help. So if you type in help in the show notes or in the comments below, so you can type in 2 things today. We've got the word help all set up and the word show all set up. So those are the 2 things you can type below. All right. So again, we are here at Coffee is for Closers. You are seeing my screen. And today is all about owning your worth and asking for what you're worth. So this is all very, very important stuff, you guys. And I'm very excited to talk about it with you today. The signature recipe, cup of wisdom. So Bernard Hopkins has a really great quote, and we're going to talk about that. Knowing your price. What should you be pricing your products at, your services at, your programs, whatever it is that you're selling? Knowing your worth, the grind, asking for what you're worth, and energy for the soul. So this is a lovely quote, and if you don't know your value, somebody will tell you your value and it'll be less than your worth. And I can't tell you how important this is. And I'll give you a story, and it was about a guy who approached me on being a co-founder of his company. And he had a really cool cell phone case, but there was a price that I put on my time to help him with being a co-founder in his company. And that price or value on my worth was not in alignment with what he was willing to pay me. So at that time, I actually declined the offer because If you guys are going to spend your time with people, working really hard, giving them all of your knowledge, you've got to place a certain price on that knowledge and on that worth. So it's super duper important that you know your value, you figure it out, and I'll go through some steps on how you can do that today. So how do you own your price, right? Or how do you own your value? How do you own your worth? There's a few things that I do and I stay really, really, really true to. And it's writing down 5 characteristics that you want to be. Who do you want to serve? Who is it that you're going to be when you're working with your clients? It's very, very important. If you're going to put yourself pretty high up on the pedestal as far as it comes to worth and value and your pricing, then you need to be able to deliver on that message or service. Solidify your affirmations and say them daily. I've been doing this for a few months now, ever since I've been launching the Pitch Queen brand and being with you guys. And, I always say my affirmation, I do it probably like 50 to 100 times on the treadmill. I was on the treadmill for an hour, which is why I'm a little bit low on electrolytes. But, just going through this process is super duper important. And the really big reason why is it's changing brain patterns in your brain. And one of my great friends, Sean Croxton, talks a lot about how and why we do things and coming from a place of positivity. But I did my affirmation with Garen Jones a few months ago, and I've been saying it ever since and kept it as a practice in my day. But by keeping that, it's taking, I'll say it for you guys right now, but it's I'm gracefully resilient, inspiring myself and others, that's you guys, to take a stand for what you want right now. And when you hear take a stand for what you want, what I'm really talking about is like, don't sell yourself short. Don't cut yourself short. Don't give away services for free. And I'm sure you guys have always done that. And yes, I am here giving my services away for free, but I have a different purpose and a different mission. And if you're really trying to work with clients, you need to be careful as to how much information you give away for free. But really knowing what you're worth and what are those 5 characteristics that you want to be known for. For me, a characteristic I want to be known for is how to sell authentically without selling and without being sleazy. So nothing I show you guys will be inauthentic or sleazy whatsoever. And that's really, really important to me. And when my friend Dominique asked me to help her grow her business, I was able to be in alignment with that because some of the people that I look for to work with as clients, so sometimes people reach out to me, the Pitch Queen, to help them, train staff, sell their services programs, like really help them try to get over the hurdles of their sales problems. And Dominique and I really shared the same values, and that was our number one important thing. So not only values, but can she deliver on the promise? So if I'm selling a program or a service, is she going to deliver on everything that we just promised the people on the phone? And that's really important to me. So again, authenticity, values, delivering on a promise, these are all things that for you, I would write down 5 things that also align with you. And keep track of all the positives. And I'm going to show you a few on the next slide, but what have you accomplished? Who have you helped? What are your strengths? What are you really good at? What testimonials have people gotten? What testimonials have you gotten from people? And if you don't have testimonials, this is where you can type in help down below, and I'll send you my guide into ideas on how you can get testimonials. It actually really works. But really knowing what you're accomplished in and who you have helped and getting this from other people is crucial to future success. So let me show you a little bit about that real quick. Here's a few right here. So acknowledge yourself and your worth. And here's a few people that I just pulled up in my email to show you guys, like real stuff. I literally just copied and pasted. But I have no idea how you got my email. That was pretty funny. But I've been enjoying your podcast. I'm in the works of another business venture, and hearing testimonials are inspiring and encouraging to not give up. So that shows me that my value is being given to all of you, right? And I love getting these emails, and it's really important that everybody on this watching, or if you're watching later, you keep a notebook of them, or you keep an inbox of all your testimonials, of all the people that have sent you stuff. It's super duper important. And just for all of you guys that don't know, I started a podcast. It's called Success Unfiltered, where failure is never an option. You can listen to Success Unfiltered on iTunes, on TuneIn, on SoundCloud, on Stitcher, on Google Play, pretty much any platform. I think I got it everywhere. So it should be on iHeartRadio soon too, but I would love it if you would listen to it. I interview some really amazing people on being told no, how they were rejected throughout their professional career, and what did they do to overcome that. So the podcast just launched last week. We're on episode number, what are we on? 7 now. So I'm doing 1 episode a day for the first 3 weeks, and then it will be a once-a-week show. Now, this next email I got, I am enjoying your Coffee is for Closers series. That's this, you guys. And I have a consulting client that might need some help in training their sales force. I really love your style, and I think it would be fit for them as well. I'm wondering if you do private consulting for companies. If you do, I'd love to make the introduction. This is really great. You need to acknowledge yourself and know your worth. So when I talk to Sean, I'm going to make sure that I am paid for my time at the value and everything that I'm worth. And I'm also going to remember the 5 things that are very important to me. And you cannot deviate from those 5, okay? It's very, very important you stick to them. It's kind of like your value system or your Bible. It's super duper important that you don't deviate from it. And the last one, can you please sign me up for your email notifications and links to Coffee is for Closers episodes? Good stuff. So I'm always reading comments. If you guys have comments, questions, or anything, put them in the notes or comments below. I'm here to support however I can. Like I said, I've been selling stuff and doing a lot of things for 20 years, and I want to take it all out of my head and provide it to you guys. So with that being said, write down all of the people you help each day. This is a really good thing for you to do. Curate all the reviews and emails and texts from happy clients that have been sent your way or that you've served. Like I said, I keep an inbox with all those emails, testimonials, anyone who I've helped, I always ask. Or for all of you guys who are going to listen to the podcast, Success Unfiltered, I would love it if you would subscribe to that show, rate it, and leave a review. I read those reviews, and the more reviews you have on iTunes, it pushes you to the top. So again, I keep track of all of this, and I encourage you guys to do so as well. And the reason why is that when you acknowledge yourself and your worth, you're only going to keep that value at the level you want. So for example, let's start talking numbers. Let's say you have a $10,000 program, service, product, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You do not want to go below $10,000 ever. Well, in order to do that, you need to keep acknowledging yourself and honoring your worth. Because the second you don't, you're going to start to discount it, or you're going to start to give deals here and there, and that's what you don't want to do. So you really have to be careful as to how you're going to be knowing your price and sticking to that price based on your 5 very important, what we talked about here, characteristics you want to be and that you want to live by. Okay? So write down all of the people you help every day. Put it in your planner, put it in your calendar, maybe set up an inbox. That's what I do. I set up an inbox and I keep all these emails in there because sometimes we need to remind ourselves of all the good you're doing, right? And curate all the reviews, emails, and texts. If you get text, sometimes I take a snapshot of it on my phone and I create an album. So you guys can do that too. Create a photo album on your phones, on your computer, and save all of these messages. And get testimonials from people who you've helped. Very, very important, but the biggest thing you have to do is ask. And that's where I think a lot of us miss the boat, is that you don't ask. And once you start asking, people will actually give you testimonials. They'll write you reviews. I'm asking all of you to write a review on iTunes for the podcast, right? So again, grab a sip of water, Gatorade, tea, coffee, whatever. But type in help in the notes below for the article of what to do when you have no testimonials. And I think this article will really, really help you. And I'll send you something that will help you, and you guys can let me know how many new testimonials you got. And again, acknowledge yourself and your worth. These, again, were my 3 examples that I had for you that will show you what it's like to start gaining testimonials. And it makes me feel good. Doesn't it make you feel good when you get stuff like this, or people are enjoying your product or your service? When I started the Pitch Queen, that was probably like 3 months ago, right, you guys? I think it's been 3 months. I had people telling me like, oh, it's dumb or whatever. And it's like, they weren't even my audience anyway. So they probably didn't really understand what I was doing. But for the people that love it, this is the kind of stuff I get. And I could only fit 3 examples on this slide for you. But I've got way more. I mean, the text messages I'm getting, or like people listening to the podcast, like, oh my God, that interview was so good. So last week, you guys on the podcast, you can learn about me. So I'm episode 0. Episode number 1 was Garen Jones. Episode number 2 is Monique Marvez. Episode number 3 was Eric, the founder of Tender Greens. He has a really long last name, so I'm going to skip it. But Tender Greens is one of my favorite healthy restaurants here in San Diego. And they're opening up a bunch. Well, they have a bunch in LA and San Francisco, and then soon to be New York. Who else was last week? John Lee Dumas. You guys all know JLD, right? Entrepreneur on Fire. He was so awesome and shared all new stories that you guys have never heard before. And Kara Kay. Kara Kay was a Charger girl here in San Diego when the San Diego Chargers were here. So depending on when you're watching this, they are now in LA. They're not here in San Diego. But Kara is now a top broker, a top agent at her brokerage in real estate. So it was really interesting to hear her stories. And today is Jayla Siciliano, who's the founder of Bonafare. And she was also on Shark Tank and Beyond the Tank. So the podcast is really cool because you get to hear and learn through other people's stories. And it's audio only, so it's not like this where you guys get to interact with me, but that one's just audio. You can listen to it at the gym or while driving, whatever suits you best. So let's get into the grind part, which is where you need to take action. Taking action is very important. And start asking for what you're worth, okay? I hate when people are like, I'm working with this client, but, it's such a drag, or they don't feel like they're enjoying their work. And when you start to feel that, it's probably because they're not paying you your value or your worth, and you underpriced yourself. And when you underprice yourself, that's what happens. So I encourage you to charge your value. You can do some price testing to see what feels good for you. On your products, if you guys have a product-based business, even with Fitzy Foods, when I was pricing out products, we tested it. I wanted to be like the Nordstroms of prepared meals, and there's a point where people just won't pay more than a certain price for an 8 to 9 ounce meal. So you also have to know who your customer is, and that's very important as well. So own your price from the steps above that we just talked about. Think about how much your clients are willing to pay for your service or product. And you might need to test 2 prices. And then after you test 2, then you might need to test another 2. It's not like solid. It's not like rock solid sometimes. You actually need to figure it out. And with Fitzy, we tested prices probably once every other year. And for those of you that have more flexibility where your cost of goods isn't so high like it was for me on the food side, maybe your product is like an evergreen product and you can make it once and sell it 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times. You have more flexibility on price. But if you're doing coaching, one-on-one stuff, you better be getting paid what you think you're worth, because otherwise you're not going to deliver great results. You're going to be miserable. You're not going to be happy. And that's really important, is to be happy and to make sure that you're enjoying what you do and you love working with the clients that you're working with. And make a game plan. Know your lowest acceptable pricing and your preferred pricing. And I think this is really important, especially when you're in the testing mode, is like figuring out, well, should I start at $10,000 or should I do $8,000? Or maybe, do we want to do $10,000 and 2 payments of $6,000 to break it up for people? It really completely depends on what you're selling. Like me at Fitzy Foods, I was selling $10 meals. I couldn't charge really more than $12, $13. That was sort of our threshold. So you have to know what your competition is doing. You need to know, again, your 5 characteristics of who you are and what your worth is and what your value is. That's very, very important. And really come up with a good game plan. You can't just pick prices from the sky. It just doesn't work like that. You need to have some really well thought out plans. And if you're selling like an event or a mastermind group or some sort of thing where you're going to have some hard cost, make sure you input all those costs and multiply it times 2. Okay? So if you think it's going to cost you $1,000 to run a weekend event, you might want to estimate that it will actually cost you $2,000, especially if you're just starting out. For those of you just starting out, oh my gosh, everything takes twice as long to get started, and it always costs twice as much. So a 2x rule is a good rule. And for those of you that have been going for a while, maybe it is time to start testing your prices, or maybe it is time to start raising your prices and providing more value and differentiating yourself from your competition. That's another cool thing, is when you can increase your value to separate yourself from the competition, you can actually increase your prices, which will create more demand at times. So again, it does depend on what you're selling completely. And, just remember, stick to what your gut says, stick to what your core says, and stick to those 5 characteristics. And follow through. Prove your value and your worth. And that was one of the biggest things. Like with me and my friend Dominique, who I help with her company, we follow through on everything we say. If we make a promise, we deliver on that promise. And if there's a way you can figure out on how to over-deliver, that would be really awesome. Because once you start over-delivering, it makes your life so much easier. You get referrals, you get more testimonials, you get to share all of the success from the people that loved your product or services. So, wow, it's already been almost half an hour and I've been talking. What questions do you guys have today that I could help you with? Amy, do we have any today? Not yet. How about the 2 people watching currently? Do you guys have any questions? Well, remember, I am here to answer all of your questions if you show up live. If you don't show up live, feel free to post your questions in the comments below. There's no problem with that. I am here to help you. I am here to teach you everything I've known. I hope today was extremely helpful. It was a good refresher for me too. I think a lot of times we need to look at ourselves and put ourselves in check at times to make sure that you're always providing value and you're getting paid what you're worth. And don't deviate from it, because when you do, the quality in your work will start to kind of go downhill. And for all of you guys, please, please, please type in show in the notes below to get reminders, and also type in help to get the guide on how to help you get more testimonials. And I will see you on my podcast, hopefully, on iTunes or SoundCloud, and just type in Success Unfiltered. Or you can find out all of the information on my website at thepitchqueen.com. That's this website, The Pitch Queen. Or wait, it goes this way. The Pitch Queen. Okay? And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I'm grateful for all of you and all of the amazing emails I keep getting. So I will see you guys next week.